Again, former Governor Carl on. I think he might be on a call here.
Looks like it.
Okay.
Right. So if it's May 15th, we should
There you go.
anticipate perhaps a press conference, right?
Yeah, Gov, have you heard if there's a press conference about the reopening of tourism?
No, I have not. I have not, but it's getting close. So maybe tomorrow, hopefully today, so we can prepare.
Right. We've been here before, though, Gov. I mean, I remember last year there was we were going to reopen tourism on July 1st. That didn't
Yeah.
work out so well. And then there was another date that we had set and then moved. So, but this time, I mean, it really does seem like it's a go.
Yeah, well, not to panic, and I believe that everyone, even in the industry, are not really, although maybe a little disappointed. They're not, they know that the people that we want, that we expect to come in from our source countries, are not ready to send their people out, and not that they're restricting them necessarily that they can't travel. It's what happens when they come back. And they're not ready to do that yet. So it behooves us here in Guam to make sure that we have the community behind us by not jumping out in front when things are not the way we want it. I mean, there's the new variants that are coming in, and it's just that it's better to be safe, and I think the governor's doing that right now because there's really. We're preparing not only for the arrivals and the opening up of our source countries, but we are trying to do with some other program that will take the place of the influx that we expect from our source countries, and that's the Airbnb. I remember about 3 months ago when I mentioned this in your show, and you kind of chuckled.
Yeah.
But it's taken hold. It has taken hold. Airbnb. Manila Bulletin front page yesterday, and I think Manila Times is doing something. I missed a call from them last night, but there is a movement on it, and in the polls today, you can see that the expats in the Philippines, particularly over 350, including the American Chambers of Commerce, and the dual citizens, they are there, and they know that Guam's 3.5 hours away, and they want to come here and vaccinate and vacation. And that's what this gentleman, Daniel Marshall, is doing right now. And the other gentleman from Thailand, and Thailand right now is seeking the United States, continental United States, or even Hawaii, to send the multinational corporations, executives and employees there to vaccinate. So we're trying to, obviate the need for them to go there and come to Guam instead. So we're opening up a good marketing strategy right now, and I hope that that will take the place for the initial lacks of our real tourists coming in. And I might add that once the approval for private clinics to receive and buy the vaccines themselves for commercial use, then we would start opening up Airbnb for non-U.S. citizens, for tourists. And hopefully, again, there's a lot of people right now, even in the Olympics, entourage from families and athletes that might they're trying to come to Guam because they'll be in the same time zone, for example, 2 or 3 weeks before the Olympics, and acclimate themselves to this time zone. So, and also they could also come and stay here for a while. So we're trying to do something without rushing into bringing in tourists that are not ready to come anyway.
Gov, so can you kind of walk us through the typical Airbnb visit? Let's say I'm one of these old white dudes married to a Filipina in the Philippines, and I say, "Oh, Guam, I could go there and get the vaccine." I buy the ticket, I come in. What happens from start to finish?
Well, if they come here on their own and not through our own program, as they have come in here, they will be quarantined. They will be quarantined at the quarantine center. They're not asked to pay for that because we cannot. They're visitors here, and they stay like I believe it's 6 days. You test out. On the 7th day, if you're negative, you can get your vaccination first shot if you take Moderna or Pfizer, and one shot with Johnson and Johnson, and then you can wait it out for another 3 days. I believe it's 10 days that the governor has put together, and or 14 days. I'm not sure whether she's implemented the 10 days, and then you can come out and get your own hotel room or get your condo or friends, stay with them and stay until you're able to be allowed back into the country you came from.
That was what I was going to ask because, I mean, it's one thing to get a flight out of and we'll just use the Philippines as the example. It's one thing to get a flight out of the Philippines, but getting one back in, sometimes that requires a visa, or?
Well, it didn't used to before pandemic time. You just went there visa free, but now they have required because one, they don't have enough personnel at the airport to be able to process, these non-visa visitors from the United States. So you won't be able to get a visa from the Philippine consul here. I tried, and they're not ready to issue it, except for extreme emergencies and medical care. But you're right; they'll be here. We have our own captive audience, and once they get here, and it seems like they don't mind. Mr. Marshall said, I'll stay and enjoy beautiful Guam, nice beaches, and great food.
Not a bad place to get stuck.
Not a bad place, certainly not. And Guam is getting spruced up, ready for action, and he's seeing the best of what's going on right now in the downtime. Although if the governor does raise the percentage of restaurant goers to 100%, that's even it's getting our people back to work. And I can't get a reservation at the restaurant of my choice right now. It's out the door. Wow. And so people are really anxious to get back to normal the way they remembered it before March 15th last year.
Gov, I mean, you're Carl Gutierrez. You can't get a reservation. I'm pretty sure you can get a walk-in.
Well, maybe when they can put another table up, but when the restriction is 75%, they ain't going to put up another table for you.
Gov, so with this Airbnb, right? I mean, what's the end game here? I mean, I know we have the vaccination, the availability, but are we going to make money off this?
Make money? I think that the community will make the money. We're not going to charge anybody to come here. They come here and they spend money. And like I said, however they manage to live here during the time that they're here, they will be spending some money here just to be able to live, to rent a room, whether it's a hotel or a condo, or like I said, they'll be out in the community. They'll rent a car, or buy food and stuff like that. But once we start getting that movement here, I think it's going to raise without having to spend much for a worldwide advertisement. That in itself, Guam actually is the forerunner in this kind of program, and it's like I said, making international news right now. And hopefully that we can patent this thing, much like the Airbnb, and it's going to be Guam Airbnb. And we're working on a logo right now, and we're not going to let this thing taken away from us.
We were talking about that this morning, Gov. Who coined the phrase Airbnb?
I did, and I mentioned that to you, and like I said, almost 4 months ago,
right.
I even brought it up to the board, and some chuckled at the board too, some directors. But I remember you chuckled.
Love it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember, but did you remember chuckling?
Yeah, it's right up there with Still the One.
Yeah, well, branding, that's what it is.
I chuckled because it was good. It was a good idea.
It's good. It is. Yeah.
Okay, but that was it. That was at the time, just when I brought it up at the board, and even our staff here kind of chuckled themselves, and then they didn't until lately, and I brought it up again, and it stuck. So we don't stop. But by the way, Sabrina, I was watching because I haven't seen you without a mask for a long time. And I kept looking and looking. I thought it was like your daughter sitting in there, like a teenage daughter.
Hey, settle down. Easy now. Family show.
True. I don't know.
That's why you're still the one.
That's why you don't need reservations.
You're the one in Sunshine. That's the branding. And we want to do that branding for GVB. We have to, and America in Asia, Japan says that the most trusted destination in America is Guam. for the travelers. And that's what they're going out there in our marketing group in Japan right now, because that really is a fact in a survey. Guam's the most trusted American destination.
Gov, what about, I mean, with all this stuff going on, do you still have time to be the permitting czar?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we had a good meeting yesterday with the lieutenant governor in his office, and he is fully engaged. We brought in some of from the industry, and my right hand staff, Patrick Sherman, here on the permitting process and licensing, and the Lieutenant Governor Josh is fully engaged. We're not going to let this one slide. This is a results-oriented group. We're moving forward. I think we're coming up with a plan that is not really as onerous as what we thought we might have to go through. It's a plan that can be implemented by the governor and the lieutenant governor, and we can shake up some of these, stumbling blocks that are in the works here for the last 2 decades. And the thing about it is that the many laws that have been put in place for 50 years from the initial licensing and permitting legislation, people react to different problems in the past. I don't know if you remember when we had that Asia bubble and developers were coming in, senators started passing stringent hoops to jump through, and it piled one on top of the other until they became incongruent. Okay, that's running out of time, huh?
No. Go, you're good.
No. Go ahead, go.
Yeah, the laws became incongruent. People in the various departments read the law differently from one another. There was really, when we invited investors here, I know 2 years ago, I invited investors here, they came here, and when they came back, you had to give them a chainsaw or a bush cutter to be able to bushwhack their way through the whole process, because it's cumbersome. And right now, Vince Ariola, it's not a problem with Vince Ariola. He is taking charge, and Joe Borja is taking charge because that's where the two departments are that really take a hold of this. They've never been the problem. It's the other departments out there and what's required of them. The other problem too is that Department of Parks and Recreation and the SHPO, that area where legislation is not in one kind of reading for everybody. Somebody reads it differently, and when we start with the Organic Act, Sabrina, that you cannot be denied the use of your property. That's the Bill of Rights in the Organic Act. We start from there, and then your laws have to comply to that. A lot of these laws actually, maybe not the law, but the interpretation of the laws that are in place are contrary to the Organic Act. So we start from there. And once you do that, I think that the governor and the lieutenant governor is going to put out an edict to his department and their department to say this is the way the law should be read, like the Federal Registry, as the lieutenant governor says. This is it, guys. You read it this way. You can only read it one way. You can't read it differently at Parks and Recreation or at Agriculture, or EPA. You've got to be able to say this is it. And whatever you're reading here is against the Organic Act. So go back to what the original was.
Mm-hmm. Gov, the legislature, they put out their spending plan, $38 million to GVB. That includes what you've been talking about with the Matapeg Beach enhancement project. You good with the 38 million?
Well, actually, I did ask for 38. 20 is from the governor. She said yes. The 18 million that we came up with later, I was surprised the legislature put that in, frankly, because the governor had already set aside only 20 million for GVB. And if need be, we will use that to do the Matapang. But also they have wired us in for 14 million for our budget in 2022 because we don't have the TAF coming in. So she's accommodating GVB the way for us to be able to operate. So surprised that the senators, I guess they heard publicly and they thought that we should get 38 million. But if not, if we could, great. If not, we're fine with the 20 million plus the 14 million for the budget.
All right. Anything else from GVP?
No, but I think that we ask everybody to please just don't be disappointed whatever comes out, because we're ready to receive the tourists. We're working very hard on the Airbnb, and that if it really takes hold, I believe that Dr. Mike Cruz and Public Health have given us an idea of what the protocol will be. And I think that once they said, okay, here it is, have 1,500 vaccines, do what you can with it, and see how you can mobilize the people from Asia to come here that are United States citizens.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks again. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Doug.
Thank you, Vic.
Okay. Stay safe.
Thanks,
Don't put a
Gov.
mask on anymore.
This guy. All right. Yeah.
Take care.
Bree's like, stop it some more.
Now that's your line.
Okay. Hey, it's 9:09. We're going to take a quick break because Bree's blushing. We'll be back.
You can even see that on the virtual background.
Right. With more of the link next. Good morning.
GU Self